my friends, here we go. Another graduate show. And we got a lot of people today, which is great. Not a lot of comments on this first page, but some comments on the next page. We're going to get quite a few. So let's get into it. Some of these might be performa graduations. Let's go look. First of all, anybody who makes it, I'm going to follow. That means with our news feed that it'll pop up when F1N41 Knight does something. I'll get to see it. The news feed is still evolving a little bit, but Jack's hoping like the next week or so we're going to put it out, to a broader public, and then I'll do like a YouTube video on it. Who is streaming today? My name is GM Jesse Kraai, one of the senseis at the Chess Dojo. And F1, look at that. That's genius. Just started in the program and doing really well. And already graduated one time, as I remember. Exactly. Right? And so this is how they got there. That's some good work. And we're expecting now to see some games. Let's go look. Definitely got one. Let's go look. All right, here we go. Now, we can be a little bit upset that the pawn on e3 is blocking the bishop on c1. But mostly, I'm happy. Things are moving out of the boxes. Yeah, and you're doing fine. Yeah. Now, that's a little weird. Now, let me explain something about this. First of all, I have a feeling maybe what you were worried about with e4, and then you kind of change your mind, right? So e4 now I think is a pawn sacrifice, right? Because snip, snap, and there's a variety of ways in which this pawn is going to fall, right? So we're playing a little slow, and now we can do it. Okay, dude, a3, not a bad move. And now snip, snap, snip. And appeared free. Knight e4. Good move. Good move. And then now somebody hangs something. Now, one thing here is that this is the point of the game where things are decided, right? And you have a totally fine game if you just play either knight a4 or knight e4, and you put that there. So let's just say the obvious. At this level of play, it's the tactical mistakes which will be the decisive features of the game, right? Okay. And now we're in huge trouble. And this guy, though, really needs to take the pawn on c5. Refuses to. Okay. Now you have, some chances if you play b4. And then here you miss another tactic, right? So it's the tactics that are killing you. One thing I can say about this f1 is that you are still suffering grief, which is common in the under 1000, that you're missing basic tactics, right? And so what we call the blunder games, playing games, to figure out, to not do this, basically, is where it's going to be at. I want to check something here. We got the times going on. Now, am I right in thinking that the times are going up? I might not be able to understand the times here. Sometimes here, estimated move time. Oh, I think that's what it is, estimated move time. Okay. I'm a little confused. But it seems like you're thinking. And then it's maybe rook 81. It would be nice to know how long you thought on that one. Okay, so let's go back. F1 is doing great, doing a lot of work. And you can see they haven't even been here that long, but they're already gaining an immense amount of points. Beautiful. Okay. Great. And again, this is what they did to get here. Lots of work and game analysis. Let's click on that. Mm-hmm. Oh, beautiful. Postmortems and stuff. 2 of them. Nice. Great. And even doing some of the Polgar mates. Good. Everyone's first chess workbook. Great. And that's the kind of things we want from you. So at the moment, F1, it's going to be you're developing your pieces. Great. And it's tactics at the moment where you need to be working on it. All right, let's go back and look at the next person. Is NBM, who has graduated several times. However, this is a poor grad. This is something. So as I said, there might be some pro forma graduations. And this person is going up when they shouldn't be, right? We got a normalized rating of 425, and they're in the wrong cohort. NBM, put yourself in the right cohort, boss. All right, now we're going to get Rora. Now there we go, buddy. There we go. Let's follow Rora. And now we're going to look how they got here. Good. Yeah. One cool thing that I'll show you guys in a little bit is with the scoreboard, you can, on the statistics page, you can see how many points per box, so points per dojo point, that on average people gain. And at these cohorts here, it's about 5 points per dojo point. So for example, 28, let's call it 25, right? Times 5, 125 points expected gain. Amazing, right? And so there we saw it too. Isn't that roughly what happened? So 28, roughly, a little less, but still enough to pop up into the next level. So that's great. I have a feeling, well, let's see, if we go back. Yeah, they have some games. Let's see if we can get some games from Aurora. No games. And if we go back to how they got here, they were doing the blunder games. Okay, so the blunder games are the quick games. You don't necessarily have to annotate. You just have to say bows. How am I hanging my pieces? And that's what's critical for the under 1,000 cohort. Great. All right, next up we got JR. I recognize JR because JR's been working at it for a while. Look at that graph, dude. So this is about the beginning of Dojo 2.0 here, May 2nd. It is. And then really a little later, boom, boom. We got this huge, no, I take it back. This goes back really far, dude. This is great. This goes back really far. So it's really beginning of March 6th of this year where the huge explosion has happened for JR. Let's follow JR. And then we're going to go back one. It looks like we're not going to get any games. It looks like they're doing mostly tactics. Fine. Okay. And learn chess the right way, number 3. That's how dude did it. No games. Okay, JR. You're going to make it out of the 1,000 cohort soon. And then, buddy, we need to have you do some annotated games. Okay. Good. And now we have Colton Francis, who's also graduated several times. That's a nice graph right there. Let's follow Colton Francis. Uh-oh, I can't follow. Normalized, wrong. I'm so cruel, buddy. Colton is in the wrong cohort. Bows, wrong cohort. Maybe they briefly got there and then fell back down. Anyways, doesn't look quite right. But all right, Colton. Let's wait until you get there, bud. Let's wait until you get there. And you have done a lot of work. There's no one's denying you the work. You got some games for us, Colton? No. Okay. It's a little bit hard for me to judge in that I'm not sure you're there yet, Bows. You have gained some great points since the beginning, and you've graduated multiple times, as we see, right? But this breaking out of the 1,000 That's a real thing, man. That's not an easy task. So maybe demote yourself. Demote yourself until you're thereabouts. All right, here we go. That was Colton, and now we got Bakaman, whose game I covered in a vid about the basically the aspect of time. I did a Chessable course, and I talked about all the different cohorts and how up to 1,000 and how they use time. And Bakaman had a game in there that was fantastic. All right, let's read what Bakaman says. Finally passed the 1250 mark today. Been working hard on playing long games and analyzing them as well as all the blunder games. Have not been quite as good at doing the tactics work. Have finally gotten the Bulgar book and will focus on maiden twos moving forward. The last 3 weeks I have also been working with a coach and has made a huge difference. Getting someone stronger than you to look at your games is vital. I totally agree. I have a coach too. And I think the plus minus equal thing at the dojo is not yet working optimally. Might be fair. The idea is good, but people might need more incentive to do the reviews. Keep up the good work, dojo team. We all love this place. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hosta Mahogany says, I love your Chessable course for aggressive white openings. We need one for black. Yeah, we do. It's a lot of work, dude, to do a course. A lot of work to do a course. Hi, Abdul. Now, one thing I want to just appreciate, I'm not sure I understand exactly what Bakaman means, is, oh, look at that. I can hover over it. Then it does something. Look at that. That's great, dude. Yeah. More incentive to do the reviews. I assume Bakaman's meaning the game reviews. Yeah, or to review, or maybe even better, to review someone who is lower rated. Yeah. I actually put out a video about the site where I talked a little bit about the plus minus equal. And one thing I realized while I was doing the video is one simple way to think about the plus is it's the program, in addition to like the senseis and people looking at your games, like I'm about to look at one of Bachman's games now, is the idea that the program itself is a plus, right? Something, and the plus just means something you trust that you give some authority to, right? So I like that idea a lot. 46-year-old from Norway. Nice. Got into the club when my son started playing. Nice. Yeah. Okay. What do you recommend against d4 for players who like your attacking repertoire for white? On the site, we have, I think, two good openings that pair well. One is Kostya's King's Indian, and then David's Najdorf course, right? Both of those are pretty great for the attacking player. One thing I'd like to do eventually is to get a Sheveshnikov course. I think the Sheveshnikov would pair nicely with the King's Indian for the ultra-aggressive players. Nice. Welcome to the dojo. Yeah. So you can see Haglis here has got a great rating graph, and especially recently, man, last couple of weeks, crushing it. So, also though, it's not quite there, bud. What are you doing, Bachman? It's not there yet, buddy. 958 isn't 1,000, but all right, here we're gonna pretend I didn't see that activity. So, lots of work. Lots of work. That looks great. That looks great. Now let's look at some games, or a game. Bakaman. So this is, I don't think I've seen this. Now, one of the things that's so cool is I think when you're at this level, like the lower cohorts, it's much easier to be European because Europeans have these cool, it's easier to travel to tournaments, it's easier to play in leagues and that kind of thing. And that's what Bachman's doing. So here we go. Great. Fine. And one cool thing about this is Bakaman is actually playing kind of highfalutin theory at this point, but doesn't know it. And what I mean by that is that's fine. That's fine, especially for where he's at. I don't want Bachman to be studying a bunch of opening theory. I want it to be about principles. So, for example, this move b3 is definitely a mistake. It's not the end of the world, but it's definitely a mistake. And on a principle level, the reason it's a mistake is because this bishop is already out. It's already got scope. So we're wasting more time on this thing. And then tactically, it's making me nervous because of that kind of stuff, right? So a simple way to proceed would be either c4 immediately or takes, and then c4. Putting pressure on black. And the c4 move, you could say, Kraai, that's not developing. Well, in a sense it is, because we're giving our queen scope. A lot of times we do need to move the c-pawn. Okay, so I don't like b3 for principled reasons. Okay, exciting. e6, don't like that for principled. Same thing. Black is blocking in the bishop, and it's not a developing move. C takes, I don't like because we're freeing the bishop on c8 if black recaptures with the pawn. Bam, good move. Bam, bam. I'm happy to swap off the bishop. Dark square around black's king are now weak, and his king safety reduced. Okay. Good. Now, the other thing I want you to be aware of is just development. So when you analyze a position like this, just think about development. And so, for example, the way I would talk about this is it's a big deal that it's my move first. It's also kind of a big deal that this bishop might not have the greatest squares. Now, first of all, this move makes me nervous because of knight c3, right? That makes me nervous. So for that reason, we should probably play knight a3 with the intention of putting the knight probably on the square your knight's going to go to anyway, right? Okay, so knight d2, f5, poor move, poor move. One thing I want you to see about your notes here too is you are calling it a poor move because of all the dark square weaknesses, and that's true, but even more important or just as important is time, right? Losing time, and now you start develop with attack. Good move. Good move. Weird. No one knows what that's for. Knight e5. Fine. You could also bust him open a little bit with a move like e4. Okay. I understand. Now you do bust him open. Dang. And he definitely needs to take on e4. Good. I like your arrows, by the way. Nice arrows. And let's see here. You have some interesting ways to talk to the dude right now after this with ef5. One thing, Bachman, that I'm really happy about your annotations is I can tell you're not using the computer, which is great. You know, you want to be thinking about this yourself. One thing that stands out immediately to me when I see the pieces like this is some kind of whack, right? So, for example, is that going to end the game? It looks to me like that's going to end the game. Papo smapo. And I don't think there's any way like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong. You can play queen d4. Yeah, good that you didn't do that, by the way. My move was poor. Yeah. Okay. So ef5, good. And then now you went crazy with g4. And right, you could just play a move like rook d1. You have all the positional advantages here. Here you're really going for the gold. Good. I think black should have taken, by the way, and played queen d4 after knight takes. Good move. At least it looks good. Dang. Knight d5. Snip that thing. This is definitely exciting. Knight f3. One of the things, Bachman, that I noticed from your other game is for somebody at this level, you sometimes make calculations that are quite good. Like knight f3, I can tell you're seeing the square control, right? You're seeing these kinds of things, and which points to the fact to me that you will quickly come out of this. You will quickly get to the properly get to the 1,000 cohort. That ain't it. Well, here you could just play queen h8 immediately, but I guess there's no. We're saying there's nothing you can do. That's a nice move, and that's it. Check. Nice, dude. Nice, buddy. Dang, yeah. Like I'm saying, you're calculating things, dude. You're in the under 1,000 cohort, and you're slaying it with these tactics, dude. You're slaying it. Man. So this is amazing. Yeah. Okay, you guys, there it is. Bakuman, he's coming up. Dude is coming up. All right. That was great. Bakuman's coming up. I think he will legitimately get to that 1,000 rating pretty quickly here. Now, let's call him Mr. P. Has graduated several times. Let's see what's going on over here. And they are legit over there. Look at that rating graph. Dang. Mr. P has graduated several times. Let's follow Mr. P. Great. And we're going to see how they did it. Right? Not too much work necessary. How did it? Looks like some tactics. Great. Let's see if we get some games from Mr. P. We got one. This is from a while back, though. I might have even looked at this game already. I think I have seen this thing. Yeah, I've seen this one. So, right, we've looked at this. That was from P's last graduation. And so Mr. P is clearly bringing it with the improvement. And usually when you're improving this fast, it means that, you're not even at your plateau yet, even close. So what I'll expect is at some point there will be a plateau, and that's when we're going to need probably more points, than just 16, 17, or 2 hours and 30 minutes to make it to the next morning. Okay. The Sage Star. Thank you for subscribing. How do I instantly know that I've seen it? Because I remember, because I knew that I'd gone over dude's games, and because I remembered the loss of the pawn, I guess. Sometimes, my memory is not great, especially as a chess memory, remembering games and stuff. When you look at Magnus in the YouTube video, it just brings me to tears. Okay, here we go, Brandon. 12:30, you made it, buddy. I'm following you. A nice gain there, boom. And started the program pretty recently, so welcome to the dojo, right? And we're going to see what you did to get here. Lots of endgame. What do we got here? The algorithm, okay. And then tactics. Okay. So Brandon also making it pretty easy to the next level, just starting. Great, though. Great. Let's see if we got some games. No games. Okay. Good, dude. Good. I think we're going to see more. We're going to see Brandon again probably pretty soon. All right, let's do another one. So now we got Cycling Delights. Oh, man. Before I had kids, dude, I was a cycler. Penny Olives, she, they. Great. Now, 1227. We're moving up. Look at the rating graph. Dude, you kidding me? That's a beaut right there. That's a beaut. Okay, that just looks great. That looks great. So we're going to go activity. And we're going to go down one. good macro diet, as they say. And let's see what's tactics. Good. And then, yeah, that's really good. Games, are we going to get some? We might have an annotated games. Let's see what we got. Oh, we got several. All right, here's Lazy Warrior against Cycling Delights. Okay, Cycling Delights is black. E3, fine. E5, Bishop B5, Bishop B6. All great moves so far. And now Knight E2, which is passive. In this position, White needs to play probably either F4 or Knight F3 to fight for the business. Knight E2, Knight E7, castles, F6. I realize at this point that White's B5 bishop only had D3 as a safe retreat in the event of A6, and I thought I could trap it with A6 and E4. The bummer is that White is just going to take it. So about the move F6, I'll say that it's an unnecessary, right? A6 would be a fine move here, and it's costing you a tempo, but we get to improve our knight here in a really nice way. But F6, not horrendous. F4, now they do it a little late with the F4, and there's no pressure now in the E5. So it's like F6 was maybe not necessary, but after F4, it's like, oh, well, that was a good thing. Probably more to the point. Ooh, I hope that didn't ruin things. More to the point for White would be like C4 or D4. Now you do A6. Now this one makes me a little nervous because after this trade, you won't be able to easily castle. So I think after F4, I would have liked to just see castles from black. Now let's say something obvious. This move is an ugly move. It's in the way of the bishop. It's in the way of the knight. And one of the things you'll see at this level is people making superficial threats, right? So White clearly sees this and is like, oh my gosh, I can do something over there. It is true, though, that if White had gone this way, they wouldn't be in the way of the bishop. They wouldn't be in the way of the knight. And so that would have made a lot more sense. So look at this, this tangle that White's got. Bishop E6, good move. Good. And now E4, which makes me really nervous. Maybe it's fine, but it makes me nervous because we're opening up this business. Right? I'm pretty sure. Well, I get it, though. Maybe whether you're nervous or not, Jesse. White is threatening a pawn. So maybe it's forced. Okay. Queen F6. Don't like that. Don't like that. Now, White has just lost the advantage of the F file. White had one trump in this position that I couldn't castle. Now the queen's come off. I don't need to castle. I don't need to. But now Cycling Delights. Here's the most important mistake you make. You can't be doing this. No. Don't do it. Now, maybe there's no way for White to mess with you, but a really simple thing you could do here is just go snip, snap, King E7, and you have all the trumps. You have all the trumps. We're about to play rook over. We're going to win the F file, and this is a mess. A mess. This, though, now who knows what's going to happen? Now you can't castle anymore, and there's real danger in the position. White doesn't feel the danger. And good. Good. Okay, so look. It's very ambitious, and I'm kind of into it, right? Because what are you doing? You're saying I don't need to worry about my king, right? Okay. Good. Dang. It felt risky walking into 2 discovered attacks. You bet it is. Now let's just say that Cycling Delights, no fear. Absolutely no fear over here. And I love what you're saying about surface level threats. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I see going on here too. Queen F6, that's bold. That is bold. Okay. Definitely surface level. And you're playing very strong. And courageous chess too. Courageous. That wasn't it. So wait a second though. Now I'm confused. Well, we got to calculate bishop f4, right? Now maybe you're winning anyway, but that looks like ball game, right? Because we are taking all the coconuts, as they say. Okay, so here we go. Knight d4. Knight d4 is also just making me nervous because, like, we're pinning ourselves. Yeah, bishop d4, definitely a mistake. Now we're just rolling. Good. Oh, chess is easy sometimes. Oh, yeah. Now, I haven't looked yet. Does Cycling Delights play rook takes h2? Yes! Oh, dang! Boom! Dang! My friends, it's not... First of all, people in Dojo getting better, but, like, back in the day, would somebody in the 1200s play this kind of combo? I don't think so. People are just getting stronger all over the place, man. Whew. Fatality. That was great, man. That was great. Oh, this is really good. Rated classical game. Great. Let's feature this game. Oh, that's really good. I'm going to follow Cycling Delights. Oh. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. There it is. Let's go back. So, I was Cycling Delights. Now we have Alex Lamb. This might be a Performa thing because I'm not seeing anything. They just probably just recently got here. No games yet. Okay. That's fine. We're going to see Alex Lamb again, though. We're going to see Alex Lamb again. I'll follow Alex. Okay, we'll go recent. And now we're going to go to the next page. Whoa, we're going to get some... As people go up the ladder, they get more things to say. But first we got Thank You. Thank You. And Thank You is clearly just on a roll. They made it, though, to 1200. Let's look. Joined the dojo quite recently. No games yet. So I think Thank You is also, somebody just joined, leveling up to the next cohort. We'll follow Thank You. Okay. Recent. Bang. Okay, next up we got Patrick. Let's slow it down, Kraai. After a little bit more than a month in the dojo, I now have my second graduation. I played a total, beautiful. I played a total of 11 games, which I won with 9-1, I guess. I probably could have graduated faster, but I wanted to take it slowly and find my way and rhythm in the program. My month mainly consists of getting the most important books, Polgar Silman. However, most of my work went into Winning Chess Tactics by Sarah Wan, which I worked through. Great. What really concerned me this month was dealing with the fear of losing. Just when I was only a few elo away from graduation, I became afraid to continue playing for fear of losing my rating. The fear was unfounded because my last game was actually the easiest. What I learned from this is that I should trust my abilities more. Another point is the time I put into playing Blitz. I hope Jesse isn't mad disappointed when he sees that. Or now we're going to really look. In this way, I procrastinated to play relevant games. Thanks to everyone who has practiced sparring positions with me so far. The dojo is great. Cool. One thing about Blitz I just want to say is, first of all, Blitz can be very fun, okay? I'm not saying you shouldn't play Blitz. Blitz is a fun activity. You're not really going to improve too much. Your openings might get a little better if you're like playing them all the time. can be a fun thing, and it can also be a source of distraction from your life. Now, everybody needs a little bit of distraction. In my case, I've been playing a little, like at lunch, I'll take a break, I'll play Settlers of Catan, and I'll play one game, and it's just like a way for me to wipe all the anxiety of my life clean for a second. Another thing I've learned, though, two things I want to say about Blitz that pertains to, you can make a broader point about life, but when people have anxiety, and almost everybody in our modern society does, they do avoidant behavior that moves away from whatever it is that they are dealing with, right? Now, everybody needs a little bit of a break, right? But Blitz is a great example of something where you can just, and not just other chess problems, it's like just life problems, right? And you just tune out and you binge on Blitz until your problems forget what your name is, right? So I want to say, like, so there's two things about Blitz. One, are you doing that kind of thing? If not, then a little Blitz is fine. And the other is, are you thinking that you're improving your game by playing Blitz, right? That's the other common mistake. I've been dreaming about playing a little Blitz myself. I've done it at various stages of the Chess Dojo, so maybe we'll get to, go online and talk some smack, talk some real smack. That's what I want to do. All right, let's click on Patrick here. Okay, Patrick, that's looking great, dude. Just made it over 1,300. Beautiful. Let's follow Patrick. Then we got the activity, and we're going to go back one. That's some work. That's some work, boss. So, for example, 70 points and 146. So one of the things we're learning is that across the dojo, an average of about 2 rating points for dojo point is what people are getting. The lower cohorts are going to be moving faster. They might be up to 5 points. Lower cohorts are just going to take more work, right? But there it is. You have an average. Patrick is doing the average of 2 points per dojo point, which is great. The other thing we're seeing with Patrick is not doing games, right? I'm sure he's playing like maybe Rapids or something on there. Maybe we'll investigate. And he's not logging the non-dojo time, which is okay. But that would be where the Blitz is probably. Oh, wait, Kraai. Here's where it is. Excuse me. Yeah, this is where it is. So let's click on this. Blitz. 8 hours of Blitz. Come on. That's not so bad, buddy. That's not so bad. Let's click on Endgame. Great. Let's click on Tactics. Beautiful. One trend I've noticed is that the Polgar mates are something really that is around this level, 1,200 plus, where people are really getting into it. They're part of the program from the beginning, but maybe the lower cohorts are just like, I'll put that off. Obviously, they have less to do, right, than, say, Patrick does here. All right, let's click on a game, and let's see what's going on with Pad. Maybe for Patty. Patrick and Patty. All right. Yeah, this has been my preferred variation since the release of the Caro-Kann Simplified by Banzia. Okay. Now, one hilarious thing is that it's really only now that, at least according to the program, that Patrick would be allowed to be studying openings, right? That is, when you get to 1,200, the idea is that's when you can start thinking about a response to E4. And again, I know I say that probably sound like a broken record, but the point is that it's not just a waste of your time, but you're losing the chance to learn to play with just principles, which will carry you much further than is even needed when you're playing the Biddy Ashes of the world. Okay, so let's continue. A little weird. Pop. That ain't it. Bam! Got him. Good move. Basic tactics, that's how we're going to do it. Thank you very much. Oh, even more. Now, arguably a little greedy. Okay? So e6 or bishop g4, I guess, is what I would do. Just for practical purposes. Beautiful. Easy chess. Chess is an easy game. Look at that. Okay. Good. Uh-huh. I like queen e2 now. Okay. I like queen d3. Fair. Nice. You total control. Total control. And now you obviously wanted that and you got it. Fine. Oh, look at that. This game too easy. Yeah. Okay. Patrick, you're clearly doing great. And actually, let's use this as an example to talk about the openings, right? So he didn't know what was going on, right? Now, knight f3 is fine. Knight c6. But just in terms of opening principles here, right? I would say some kind of move is okay. Some kind of move is okay. Some kind of move is okay. Maybe even this weird move, right? White's got a variety of moves. Does this do anything? No. No, 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 no. It doesn't do nothing. It doesn't do nothing. Okay, great. Patrick, we're going to see you again, boss. That was great. I'm going to go over here and Patrick, you didn't, I didn't bust you. I didn't bust you, man, with the blitz. All right, next up we have I Am Hector. Dojo's provided me with a very nice curriculum to follow, diversifying what I look into and limiting those areas where I overspend time on. Most importantly, I've been consistent in playing long games and analyzing them. Nice. This is so challenging but loads of fun. It's helped me with playing more complex position, but I would actually highlight is that it has helped me caring less about shorter time controls and tilting overall. Beautiful. Having a cool tactics book, recommendation, and goals has helped me dedicate time to those as well. Besides that, like many others, I love looking at openings. However, since I joined the dojo, I've decided to stick to only studying what's suggested and no more. I have stayed a bit longer than needed on this cohort because I wanted both of my ChessCom and Lichess ratings to be over the border. I like that phrase, over the border. However, finding classical games on ChessCom is not easy, and thus my rating was mainly based off 15-minute games. I actually quite liked the idea of having a fixed Lichess Liga, as I could always reserve that time and plan my other responsibilities around. In the arena format, it may be a bit harder to reach critical mass to be able to always find an opponent, but I guess that enough thought has been given to it. Looking forward to the next level. Nice. Yeah, the whole thing with following a program, so important. And I'm noticing, I'll say for my own chess, like I was putting off doing the rook and bishop versus rook algorithm forever. I was intimidated by that thing. What did the program do? Forced me to do it. Did the vid, came out just the other day. And I drilled down on that thing, dude. I drilled down. Was it difficult? Yeah. It was something that had been putting off. Quote, actually, I heard recently that I like, the magic you are looking for is in the work you are avoiding. Amazing, right? The magic you are looking for is in the work you are avoiding. I was avoiding that. There's a lot of work that people are avoiding. Chess work that's hard that people are putting off, and they're saying, maybe I don't need to do it. But it's there, and that's where the magic is. To put it in another sphere, I've been doing CrossFit, and CrossFit's making me do all kinds of things that I'm uncomfortable with. The other day I was like, handstands. I've never been able to do a handstand, dog. But I was in there, boss. I was close. I had a couple second handstand. Wasn't good, but dude like me, an old dude, do a handstand. Well, right on, dude. Right on. All right, let's click on I Am Hector. Okay. So that's a good graph right there. And then let's see. So right, the ChessCom isn't there, as Hector was saying, but then this is definitely there with 1527. Definitely there. So that like he's way up there in terms of the chess in the Lichess. And with the ChessCom, I'll say it is a problem. especially because there's so many cheaters there, you know. But in any case, I mean, I'm sure there's cheaters on Lead Chess too. I have a student who's going through like psychological pain facing all the cheaters on ChessCon. That's why we have the Dojo Ligas, you know. We have all kinds of sparring, and you can get the games at the dojo, which, you know, doesn't eliminate cheating, but like shrinks it down to a margin which is small enough to psychologically be able to deal with it. I'm going to follow Hector here. And the other thing, Hector, and I know this might be a place of discomfort, is soon you should think to yourself, hey, I don't know if it'll be my preferred rating, but I'll put an over-the-board rating on there. Maybe you never even played over the board. Many people share that plight, you know, but I think you would experience, and others, I'm preaching not just to you, but many people watching the show would benefit from something like that. Not like that, just from that. Okay, cool. Let's see, we got activity, and we're going to take it down a notch. See what happened here. 84 points, great. So we'll contrast that to this, 77. As you see, we go up the cohorts. It gets a little harder to move up. You need more points. 96 hours, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And then been at the dojo for a while here. Looks like, yeah, since we released Dojo 2.0. Beautiful. And let's click around a touch. Nice. We're gonna see some games in a second. We got some Polgar mates, 1,000. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Winning Chess Tactics, also really good. I like this a lot. Okay, let's go back, and then we'll also click on Endgame. Great. Logical chess move by move. There it is. So as you can see, this is really what it looks like, right? This is what it looks like. Progress, that is. Okay. So, MD Knight. There's going to be a battle of the dojo here, my friends. This is MD Knight, who might be in chat. Okay. Now, I Am Hector's looking into it for closed Italians. At 1200, I Am Hector is allowed to look at the openings versus E4. Fine. Right. Now, instead of thinking about it as main lines, I encourage you just to think about it as chess, right? Is it a little bit weird and controversial? Of course it is, to play A3. And that some GMs figured this thing out and, like, you know, thought deeply about this weird move A3. But for us, you know, it's kind of weird. D6, beautiful. And then this is definitely a mistake, right? This is a mistake because the knight is poor on A5. Absolutely. And the bishop wants to go back to A2, right? So the moves that make more sense here would be bishop E6 and bishop G4. Both those moves make sense, right? And in general, a drawback we can say about A3 is that a more standard move is C3 with the point of giving the bishop a way back, but also preventing, kind of dominating the knight. So, for example, on D6, I would spend some time here wondering, do I play bishop E6 to negate, basically to negate the tempo? Or do I play bishop G4 with the idea of saying, buddy, you forgot to guard your square? Both of them look very reasonable to me. And what I would say about knight A5 is, you're essentially losing time because the knight is going to have to come back. Also not a developing move, really. Weird. Maybe not horrendous, but what is white doing? They're helping you come back. Good move. I'm glad you didn't take. And you say that's about equal. Maybe fair. I'm partial to white and their good pawn structure. Bishop B2 looks good. Weird, right? Why? Maybe white's going to be better no matter what, honestly. But yeah. Now we need a good move. Let's play bishop G4. Okay. Now we want to play knight d4. No, fine. Good move. As I said before, this move c3, it's going to be necessary to restrict the knight on c3. And now, good rule of thumb, by the way, anytime you see a pawn move, that's a chance to rethink about what's going on in the position. Good move. And what I mean by that is now your knight on c6 needs to start thinking about better employment. Queen d7. Pop. And now we have ourselves an interesting situazione. This is a nasty move. So, MB Knight has to be thinking, is there a way, somehow, to be more dynamic in this position? And I'm not going to spend forever about it because we're looking at it from I Am Hector's perspective, but this would be my question. Could white get away with this move? I'm not sure yet, right? But the point is obvious, is that if I play bishop b1, you're absolutely correct in saying white is doing terrible. Here, look at that bishop bows. What are you doing? And now I think you might have c4. Let's see if that's what you did. Boom. Now here went crazy. c4. Yeah, and just creating all kinds of drama after c4, right? Okay. Boom. So let's say the obvious, that was a tactical mistake. And, you know, at this level, that is, you know, what will often decide the games. Let's go look at how much time you spent on this position. One thing I can tell psychologically is you felt the need to strike after the ugly-looking bishop b1, right? And so you did spend 3 minutes on that bad boy. You did. Yeah. And then I guess we're going to say you missed that bishop e7 was going to get him out of dodge. Can attack the knight back. Great. Okay. All right, Hector. This is good. This is good notes, my man. Good notes. Okay, great. Let's feature this game. And I want to go back to Hector. I'm already following him. Great. All right, let's look at the next one. Now we got TP. Might be a Performa graduation. Let's look. 1279, so kind of sort of there, USCF. Activity. It's hard to say. It's really pretty new to the dojo. So I'm going to follow, and I suspect this is like one of the, what I call a Performa graduation. Okay, great. Let's go back. Pop, pop. And pop. And Afraid of You. It says, Polgar mates into is the hardest thing I've ever done. But calculating mate nets got so much easier. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at that, dude. What's going on here? Afraid of You. What's going on, buddy? Look at this movement here, man. That's some crazy movement we're seeing here. All right. I'm going to follow Afraid of You. And we're going to go back one and see how this was done. 66 points. A lot of endgame. A lot of endgame. And not a lot of annotated games. Maybe we're going to find one. And look, I think I remember graduating Afraid of You before from the last cohort. So Afraid of You is clearly moving at speed here. Getting up. Look at that thing. Boom. Okay, let's see if we got a game. This is fairly recent. Slow and Afraid. It's playing Alessandro here. So. All right, now let's just say f5 is a weird move, right? Because it doesn't really help your pieces develop. Okay. So, well, they want to park the bishop back on h2, and if they were a GM, you could say they might be dreaming of g4, but I don't think this guy is dreaming of g4. Okay, check to the miserable king. No bueno for sure. Kind of fair, right? But also the bishop is doing a disservice in that the pawn on c2 probably wants to go to c4 for space. So while it's not terrible to give a check, there's some drawbacks to putting the bishop check. And then that's definitely terrible, right? Okay. And then actually you come up with knight h5, which I think I like. So one of the things actually I want to do is, so I did a video about the element of time in each stage of the dojo, right? And I started at 0 to 300. And time is, still a factor. It's going to be, you can see it playing out in situations like this. Now, for example, white has some idea about what the dream is on knight h2, but it doesn't make sense in terms of time at all, because dude has to fix his king, connect the rooks, bring out the queen. So a really simple move to make could be queen e2, right? And then you can decide whether you want to castle long or short. Fine, we'll see what black does, right? So incorrect. And now here's the thing with knight h5. It looks great, but what are we going to do on bishop g5? And I think it's important to ask, because you can't smush it all the way because of this knight, right? And he is going to play g4 next move. Now, one of the things I was talking about, g4, how a GM might play g4, they would do so without putting the knight here, because they would say to themselves, bows, if I can open up the rook, then I'm opening up the rook, So knight h5 is a great idea. Your opponent clearly doesn't get it. Plays this, and now, bam, ooh. Now the whole thing is shattered for him. And your knight, which was conceivably much worse on h5, gets to free itself from its miserable life, right? Beautiful. And now the rook on f8 is looking at the pawn, and you say, bows. Fine. Okay. It's hard for me to believe that this is wrong here, for you to do this. You could have played d5 first. You could have played all kinds of things. And now, simple d4, you mean d5 would have been enough. Now we have one key variation, and that is what's going to happen on knight here or knight here, and then followed by knight g5 with a look into our gook. I don't know exactly, but I believe in your position. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't it. Notice the guy's just giving you time and time again. And as I've stated in other arenas before, the feature of chess development for anybody coming out of the 1000s is, my opponents are going to give me time. I need to learn how to exploit them giving me time. And a lot of times it ends up in you giving them mate, right? Because dude didn't develop, boom, it's time to hurt him. And that's what e5 is about. The main thing that makes me nervous about e5 is that dude can now play c3. You don't like it, apparently. You don't like c3. And he gets your bishop off of this diagonal, after which you're still doing great, but my king would feel better if my bishop were on that diagonal. Queen f3 doesn't make any sense. e4 is also fine. Check to the miserable king. There we go. Let's bring it in. Okay. Good move by your opponent. Absolutely. 95. Good. Queen d7. Yeah. Now, I want you to think about this move in terms of time. Your pieces want to get out, right? So a default move should be bishop d7. And I don't really know what white's doing. Now, white can at least say to themselves, hey, uh, you know, maybe I can even take on e5, but also the bishop on c8, what a chump. Yeah. And now I don't know exactly what's going on, but I'm really nervous, especially about, the mating ideas here. If they get this kind of stuff, it's all over. So bishop d7, bishop e6 would be a high-level move to find. And now you played king g7. And I can tell you right now we're toast. b3 ain't it. And the first move they should look at is rook e7, right? And as you write, that should win on the spot. Rook e7 should probably still win. Good. And now we're talking to their coconuts. Oh, that wasn't it, right? That wasn't it. Patzer sees a check. Okay. Now you've survived and now have every right to now be better. Okay. And there was a previous game, this was Cycling Delights, was talking about superficial threats. And you should criticize yourself and this guy in a similar vein, right? People are just they don't know what to do and they're just making little threats. First of all, the way to unlearn that is to be more conscious about when you say you made a mistake in a game. What should you have done? First move comes to my mind is c6. This not only blocks the queen, gives our bishop a little love, right? And we want to put all our pawns on light squares so that our bishop can move around them. So we have bricks on the light squares and the mortar on the dark squares. And I like your position a lot because weakness, 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 right? And the bishop is just stronger than the knight, especially when all those pawns are on light squares. Okay. Did I review the Magnus game? No. Bishop f2. Queen b7. Queen e5. Makes me a little nervous. Queen f3. Weird, right? Should be one. Why is it weird? Because the queen was doing damage over there. And now this happens. And this one's hard to evaluate. Something I want to stress here is that one thing I see over and over again is that people, when they get to the ending, they stop annotating religiously. And this is a great endgame. I don't even need to look at it too long to know, oh, this is complicated, and we need to think about this thing, right? You might be losing, but maybe, this is a great example of a bishop and knight ending. I'm not exactly sure. So knight d2 happens, e3. Okay, now the dude plays knight f3. We can talk about knight e4. And notice, when you got forced to put your pawn there, it wasn't only a weakness, but it limited the ability of your bishop to move. And then this, actually, I'm going to call that a great example of loss of time in the ending. Okay? So the pawn is already blockaded, the e3 pawn. There's no need to, no need to go crazy on it. And there's a big battle happening now for which king is going to come in. Now, it's not immediately clear, by the way, who is better in this position. Because if he starts playing passive with king e2, you're going to have some great chances. But knight d4 would be the first question to stop this and maybe get the pawn via that. But what's going to happen? Boom, bishop h4. And we have, I think, to my simpleton mind, a complicated position. Black has the trump of the bishop, but, this is a big but, the white king is better, and these pawns are split and vulnerable. So, for example, if this was my game, and I was annotating it, I'd spend some time here, going through some variations, and it would help me better understand the game. It would also help me understand, like, oh no, king e2, that wasn't it. Bows. No, there were things that needed to be done. What needs to be done? We need to eliminate this bad boy. Our knight needs to become active. One of these bad boys needs to turn into a passed pawn. At the very least, we need Tempe to start using the kinetic energy of the pawns to push him up. King e2. No, 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 no. Okay, here we go. King e6, good move. Now, our king wants to go to e5, and now you talk about king d7. Okay. It would be good to do a variation, but there's still questions here. King e5, knight here. Now, why is king f4 a mistake? Now you're all in. You're already committed. Now you say white's winning. Maybe. Now, let's just say something, though. The bishop is a long-range piece. The bummer about this particular bishop is it's being blocked by its own pawn. So sometimes, even if you lose a pawn or so, that's not the end. It's still going to be a race. So a variation definitely to look at here would have been king h4. And you go for it like this. a4, good move. Notice, black understands that time is everything. Good. There you see the effect of the e3 pawn. Okay. And now you do bishop d6. Bishop c7 is interesting to me. Good. What did they allow you to do? They allowed you to fix your bishop. Now the game, who knows what's happening. Let's go g5, please. Thank you. Let's go g4, please. Thank you. b4. It's getting exciting. Bishop f2 looks like a blunder to me because knight d4, right? So, we obviously need to talk about bishop b6, right? We need to talk about it. What's the eval? I don't know. We got to analyze it out. One of the things about the endgame is it demands, a position like this demands deep system 2 thinking, right? And maybe you didn't have that much time while you were doing in the game, but this is the moment when you're doing the game analysis, you can really learn from it. So, c4, for example, I mean, it's a party starting here. g3, we're running. So let's look at what happened. Pop, pop. g3, a7. And we're saying knight e2, g2, c4. White has no reason to hurry. Well, they better be in a hurry because because it's getting close here. Like, if we had one more move and we could park our bishop here, then I'm not immediately sure what's going to happen, right? But that's definitely a blunder. And now you analyze queen g4. We got ourselves a full race here, my friends. Boom, 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 boom. Wait, it's not over. It's simply not over. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Yeah. So, for example, let's go here, h5. Okay. b6, h4. All right, let's slow it down for a second. This is as we can see, it's a problem-like situation with b7. Here we go. Bishop g3, knight f5, and then we're toast. We are absolutely toast. So one move deeper, right? And we can see that we're toast here. So h3, I take, I hold the square, you have to take it, I'm gonna queen. If you move the bishop anywhere, I'm gonna sack. And this is a song called Crispy Critters, right? Where I'm gonna move the king in, and I'm gonna advance that pawn, and it's game. A nice way to do it actually would be to shoulder the black king. And let's just see if it works. Pop, pop, pop. Bishop e5, c4. And that's, as I said, that's called Crispy Critters. Yep. Okay, so good job. Good job. And you can see hopefully a little bit about how you can learn from endgame study. This whole madness happened here. Bang! Yeah, that's the bummer of the night. One of the things you're learning, a very cool thing that you just learned, right, is how hard it is often for the poor knight. The knight cannot lose a move. Now, in this position, maybe you could have given them a little bit of question marks here with king g3. See? What is white going to do? There might be a way for him to draw this, and I think there is, but it's let's call it highfalutin. Dude has to find this move. Only move. Only move. Intending h2, knight f1. And of course, we can just go back if he finds it. The worst case scenario, right? Okay. There it is. Okay, afraid of you. You're doing great, buddy. Again, when I see this level of play at this cohort, I'm like, dude, they didn't play like this back in the day. You know? They really didn't play like this back in the day. All right, so there it is. Looking forward to more of Afraid of You. Boom. 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 Okay, I still got to go back, and I go pop. Now we got Chino. Maybe a Performa graduation here. Yeah, okay, let's see what's going on. Pretty recent. Yeah, I think this is, nothing going on. Okay, we'll follow Dick Chino, though. Dick Chino, welcome to the Dojo Bows. We'll see you soon here. All right, recent. Poop. I need a way to go back to this. Anyways, a little bit technical. Don't even talk about it. Chess Punk, probably a Performa graduation. We'll follow Chess Punk, though. Yeah. Yeah. As expected. Okay, that's just a Performa. A Performa. And pop. And now we get Shazi. Looks like also Performa. Graduation. Yeah, we'll follow Shazi though. Sure. This is just a welcome to the dojo here. They just started. They just started and upped themselves. Also in the wrong cohort. Right? Sometimes there's confusion about the cohort, but it's important always to look at that, what the normalized rating is. Okay. So, next up, this is what we've all been waiting for. Thor Biddles has made it. Now, let me just tell you something, my friends. Some graduations are a little bit more noteworthy than others. Now, you could say, well, does that mean we're not equal? Well, only kind of, sort of. And what I mean is this. When somebody's been at it, okay, for a long time. And especially if they're breaking into like a whole new level, like Thor Biddles is. Dude, that's time for some celebration. It really is. I have coached several people up to, like, let's say, 1,800 FIDE, 2,000 USCF, these kinds of barriers. It's difficult, man. It is difficult. And especially if you're an adult, it is a long journey. Definitely should be proud of to have made it. Yeah, hard-won victories deserve heightened celebration. That's right, and Thor Biddles has definitely done it. Let's read what he says. Playing long games, analyzing them, Polgar mates, books, sparring endgames with multiple people, especially Santo, nice, have all helped my chess growth. Program gave me enough confidence to finally start playing OTB a couple months ago. The games have only been 45 plus 5, but I still analyze and learn them the dojo way. Thank you, senseis. Great, dude. Thor Biddles has been with us for a long time. And I want to say even before we started the training program that Thor Biddles was involved with us. That's my guess here. So, here we go. Just checking in. Sometimes people yell at me on Discord, and I'm like, "Whoa, Bows, am I missing something?" I'm gonna convert the remnants of my coffee to iced coffee. Ah, delicious! I've been waiting for this all day. And this rating graph shows just when we started tracking it with the new system here. That's right, Thor Biddles, 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Really cool, actually. We need to have like some kind of plaque or something for the people who've been here forever, I haven't seen Sombrero around for a long time. That dude was always there for our early streams. Okay, so 1950, I'm going to guess Thor Biddles could have graduated sooner if they wanted to. He wanted to. Very similar ChessCom Rapid rating. USCF. And then, just started. And you can see with the number, 31. That's like just started OTB. And let me say, Thor Biddles, like to have made it this far without ever playing OTB, that's amazing. That shows talent. It also shows dedication. And the simple thing I want to suggest to you is that obviously this might be depressing at first, this rating, but let's say you just wanted even this, that was your thing, Lee Chess. That Lee Chess rating would go up dramatically once you start getting more OTB, especially like longer OTB games. Okay, I just spilled on myself. Bows, take it easy. I'm not that old yet, but he's spilling all over myself. We're going to follow Thor Biddles. Thor Biddles got himself some followers. Nice. And we're going to look at what Thor Biddles did to make it here. Now, that's some work, my friends. Look at that thing. That's some work, Bows. Yeah. There we go. That's just a lot, man. Let's click around a little bit. Beautiful. Endgame. Dude did the rook endgame progression match. Did 2 of them. That's real work. We had some feedback from Hubsker suggesting we should do the REP match, and I think we are. This is like it's too long for people to organize it, so I think we're gonna more bite-size it coming up soon. And then we got tactics. Great. Both our mates into 1470. And the hilarious thing there is 1471 is where they get really hard. So Thor Biddles was like, Bows, I think I'm just going to stop at 1470 for now. I'm going to take it easy. But good. Yeah. And let's click on middle games. Art of Attack. New York 1924. These are great books, man. Great books. Okay, I'm pumped. Let's look at a game from Thor Biddles. Here and Now, also in the dojo. Here and Now is a pretty tough customer. And we are going to flip it. And you can see the times here. So 130 plus 30. So this is a real classical game. Okay. We just saw something mildly similar to this earlier. Okay, fine. I definitely would rather see knight c6 or castles. Castles, why not? Let's castle. Bishop c4 now, it's kind of like making e6 look good, right? It's not clear it's necessary. I don't know about d5. I'm not sure it's a great move. In many ways, the whole setup is designed with e3, d4 to be limiting the scope of your bishop. And white just released the crack in there. Also, it's not a developing move. Okay, now, big moment. You took. Let's pretend that's correct. It feels okay. You could have also played king h8. I guess I'm in favor of, well, I don't know. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it. And now white gives us a tempo with c3. And we're going to see how long Here and Now thought on that one. Yeah, Here and Now tanked on c3. And, you know, it's funny when players are a little bit stronger like this, and I see a move like c3, I'm like, I bet he tanked on that one. Because it's clearly not a move that Here and Now wants to do. But it takes also nerves of steel to play castles long. In fact, white's position is already kind of nasty because the bishop on g7 is so strong, and it's not clear where the white king should now go. Yeah. Very rich position. This is why I didn't like d5. This is why I don't like the situation here for white. If castles, then a simple way to play the position, I think, I have to think about it a little bit. Now, Thorbittles is talking about h6, which makes me a little nervous. But I would like to provoke c3 and then play for b5, b4. Let's think about this for a second. But maybe here first, they're going to owe me c3 anyway. Now, bishop b3, then I'm playing a5, and then no matter what, I'm playing a4 next. If bishop c4, without thinking at all, I'm going to play b5. Right? So maybe these are some of the things Here and Now was thinking about when they played the sad move c3. And maybe, like I said, maybe they got to do it. But it's already a sign, right, that their position went from at least fine to now problematic, hard to play. The other move for white to consider, I think, strongly is castles. Short, sacrificing the pawn. Yeah, maybe we could do it that way. In any case, let's look at what happens. c3, queen e7. Knight g5 looks superficial to me. Bishop f6. Okay. All right, it's getting a little hot here. White is now with knight g5 making some big kahuna claims about h4, h5 in the near future, just busting us all up. Probably, though, white needs to be thinking, because white only has a couple pieces that are trying to do all this magic about doing something with their king, right? And it's a hard decision to make. In knight g5, let's see how long here now thinks about it. 5 minutes. Is, again, a move where he's like, I don't feel great about this, Now, one thing I want to say, actually, I want to back up a second. A move that appeals to me a little bit more than queen e7, after reflecting on it a little bit, is queen e8. That way, I have more options for when I move this knight. First, I can move it back here if I want to, and I also then get ideas of this kind of business. Now, the other thing with knight g5 is white is trying to prevent, I think, this move. Okay, so this is an interesting moment. We're going to see how long Thorbit will start on this move. It's a good moment. Now, notice, it gets stronger here as we go up the cohorts. It gets a little, people are thinking, Braden, thank you for gifting us a sub. Nice. To that Discord dude. Right, B5 was intentional early. Again, if I don't read the chat religiously, that's because I'm an old dude and I don't always know. Bishop F6. Here's a crazy variation. H6, H4, Bishop F6, Queen C4, King G7, Knight E6. Now, I don't believe at all that white is equal. Because we got the development jump, right? Look, get out of my face, Mr. Bishop. Get out of my face, Bows. I want to do things. It's my turn. It's my turn, you chump. You forgot to develop your king, and now it's my turn. Yeah. So, Bishop F6, H4. Now, Knight E5 scares me a little bit, okay? But I think it's okay what you're doing. It scares me a little bit just because we have to double, triple check that H5 doesn't work. Castles. C6. Then dude loses his dark squares. Yeah. Definitely incorrect, the Mundo. DE. Okay. Probably okay. We can think about if I'm white, I realize you got to realize I'm already like strategically busted here because like H6 King G7 is going to kick my knight away, and it's a little bit of a bummer. Maybe white's dreaming about some kind of knight E6, knight F7 thing, but right. I like A5 though. I don't know what white's doing. I don't understand that move. I don't know. That's just going to encourage me to do that. And now I think we're definitely strategically winning. Okay. So. H6 is a move. You went for the gold here. B4 is also a move there. Boom. Boom. Can't be wrong what you're doing, Bows. And now you play Bishop B7. Yeah, it's time to do some calculation for sure. Let's look at how long you spent. Yeah, almost like 7, 8 minutes. Good. And you talk about Bishop E6 and Rook A7. One cool thing I like about Rook A7 is it's claiming that the bishop on C8 is developed where it stands. F3, by the way, feels like somebody's trying to tickle their way out of the problem. But in fact, white's really just weakening their squares more when they're playing F3. It's obviously, though, not easy to give white advice in this position. So, f3, and I don't understand bishop b7. I'll tell you guys a funny story. I was going over a game with KGB kind of recently, and there's a King's Indian trope, let's call it. Trope, is that the word? It's very common in situations like this. The D file doesn't mean that much. And so he was like, I played like Rook 81 as white, and he was just like, meaningless beginner level move. And part of the point, though, is like a lot of times here you got these beautiful bishops. They're covering the entrance squares pretty well. But now you're giving up the entrance squares. And so now it just makes me nervous, right? So let's see what dude does. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, don't play queen e5. And now your bishop on b7's pissed off at you now. Now it's complicated. Yeah. Good thing you didn't show this one to KGB, man. He'd be all over you. Why do you always lose control, huh? What's wrong with you? Always trying to be creative. Why do you try to be creative? Right. Let me just say, it's a great example of loss of control. We've all done it, right? And we have no idea now what is happening. At least I don't in this position. I spent 8 minutes and couldn't find a good move here. Okay. I'm terrified here. I'm absolutely terrified. So g5 I like a lot. Just we have to close down the rook. There's just no way. I don't want to let that bad boy in. No way. I'm sinking. I'm sinking down here. Knight f2. Something like this. I don't know. This is a little bit highfalutin what you're doing here. But you did fix your Bishovskis, that's for sure. Okay, so fe4. Now I'm just scared out of my wits here, HG. I'm super scared here. Check to the miserable king. Rook d6, logical. Check to the miserable. Rook f6. Rook d8. Rook f5. We can't go rook f8 because of the g6 pawn. Yeah. And now dude is going to get this, but you are going to be able to enter the position. And it's still spicy. Oh, we get spice level a lot. Spice level a lot. Okay, let's look. I thought for 6 minutes and decided that it looked hopelessly passive unless I sacrificed material and went all in on promoting my A-pawn. I figured my LSB, this guy, was a goner if I did this. In addition to the exchange. But it looked like that's true. I mean, it's definitely okay. Let's give you props. And at very least, a very interesting idea that you came up here with rook g5. Okay, I got a couple questions. That's the first one right there. Yeah. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but that one needs to be analyzed, right? And what's interesting about this, let me say something about the exchange sacrifice. It's really cool that you're able to do this conceptually, because my experience at this level is like the here and nows, they see the exchange and they're like, well, that's the one I got to do, But you're absolutely correct that this is a big deal, right? The A-pawn, if you get it, oh, buddy, watch out. Now, this too, we need to have a little bit more variations. So, for example, B4 definitely should be analyzed. because the only pawn that matters is we don't lose that bad boy. And if this bishop were somewhere active, we would definitely just have to outright believe in your position. But because it's not active, then we have questions still. Right? Okay. So, rook f1. Again, I could spend a long time analyzing that. And now, great. And you can see at this stage of the game, the bishops are amazing. Rook b7, we didn't need that chump anyway. b4. If I had allowed white to play b4 there, and their light square bishop could get in. Do I understand what's happening? No, I don't. I don't know. I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue what's going on. Oh, buddy, here we go. Oh, man. It's a great game, dude. Wow. Look at this game, dude. Look at this game. Right. It should be an easy draw now. Okay. Let me just say that this is a great annotation. It could be deeper here. I have a feeling there's some endgame studies to be found within these positions. Amazing. Let me just, out of my own personal interest, go back to this position where he played knight e6. Like, I was concerned with bishop e6, and I implicitly believed your position here. It is true, though, that it's still so hectic. Let's just spend a half a second here. So our poor bishop on b7 looks like it's toast. And we're worried about b4 stuff. Okay, so let's say rook f1. I criticized it at first, at least intuitively, but if he's going to take your bishop, boss, what can I say? And here, actually, this is really good that you analyze this variation. Good. So check to the miserable king. Bishop b4. Rook b7. Rook e1. And you end up giving this as unclear. Do I believe that? I don't know. I'm not sure I do. I think this would be a key variation here with rook c8. Because you're going to lose some coconuts, and then maybe there'll even be a chance for counterplay over here. So rook b7. Fascinating. Boom. 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 Check to the miserable. Now, is bishop g4, does that bishop g4 make sense? Because later he ends up losing the b pawn. So what is the bishop doing over there? I'm not sure I get that move. What is my intuition here? Maybe white should be winning. But maybe it's simply a draw. So just for my own sake, bishop c4 makes more sense. Does rook a6 make sense? I don't know. check to the miserable king. Clearly, our bishop doesn't. We're going to lose this pawn, and then we're unhappy about it, right? So some question marks need to be attached. Now, did we have to lose the pawn? For example, maybe we did. So rook c6. Rook g3. This is intense, dude. Bishop f5. All right, so this is what I mean by like study-like positions. Gotta ask this question. Okay, so if king e2, then we're doing this anyway, and then we're not going to lose our e-pawn. So then king c2 would be the move I'd be afraid of. But now there's other questions for Mr. Dude here, namely, bam! So I will still achieve b3, and now you got to wonder about my e-pawn, right? I don't understand why white gave you this pawn, boss. Why did he give you that pawn? It was such a big deal. Yeah, I think with e3, what's dude want? MD Knight and Thor Biddles are here. Great. This e3 thing looks evil. And I'm sure we're all appreciating your amazing bishop here. One cool thing that took me decades to understand was that when you get in this kind of imbalanced endgame, obviously you're down a rook, it gives you much more dynamic chances that there are opposite color bishops. Because the bishops here, you can create an initiative, right, on the squares you don't own. Like here with e3, man, you're killing it. You're killing it, man. Whew. I think he's done after e3. I don't see it. Okay, that was a great game, Thor Biddles. That was absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Okay. You guys, I'm going to wrap up this stream here. We're going to do Dojo Talks at 3:30, so in about 45 minutes. And before that, I'm going to... let me just say we had a funny thing in the Sensei questions today. And Pruess, responded being like, oh, if a problem's too hard, I just move on, boss. It's okay. It's okay. And I responded, first of all, in the Polgar Mates, definitely you look at it until you solve it. Maybe you take a break and come back to it, but you definitely solve it. And there's other ones where maybe I can have some understanding for, not pushing it through. But of course, I'm in the question. So the question to ask yourself is, how do you feel about pain? And because Pruess is a communist, dude, he's not into pain, But those of us who have lived, oh, come on, don't be patronizing. Kraai. Those of us who have lived in the real world know all about pain. Pruess has done his time with pain. I can't give him that, I can't tell him that. And dude, he's so under pain that he hasn't even done the Polgar. Yeah. Okay. So let me just show a couple things that I'm at it before I'm out. So first of all, congratulations, Thor Biddles. That was amazing, dude. That was an epic journey. I know about it. I know it myself. It's hard, dude. Here's an example of the news feed, and it's just let's call it in. It's a soft rollout here. Where it's not fully official. And one cool thing that we're gonna do that I want to bring in here is Jack is gonna put in the graduates here. So I think instead of it being on this recent page, it's just going to show up here on the news feed. So everybody who graduates, you'll see it when you go to your personal news feed. These are just the people I followed. So for example, J Poker Flat. I followed this dude because he made a comment in the Discord, found him, and then, I'm following him now, right? And there's Bakuman right here. Dude just did that, in fact, during the stream. He updated his tactics right there. Let's give him an emoji there, man. Let's give him an emoji. Oh, Sage. Well, let's give Sage some love here. Yeah, there we go. Sage we did a top of the cohort show. We'll do more of that. David, and Pruess were looking at this great game she was playing, crushing. Also somebody, in this cohort, and you're like, this person's clearly stronger than 1200, Yeah, and there's Bachman working on that. So, right, what you're seeing there is a graduation announcement of somebody you follow. But again, we're going to get the graduations here on the right-hand side. We need some ideas for the left-hand side, Could be something cool. I don't know. Okay. So now I've been doing a bunch of opening work for the first time in forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my profile and I'm going to go over here to openings. And I've done a lot of opening work in my life, of course, but I haven't really logged too much because in the last year or so, I've not been focused on openings at all. So we're going to do that here, though, and I'm going to click to this one. Response? Okay, let's see what's going on. Oh, this is so cool, dude. So, what this shows is the points you get per thing that you do, and then it goes away in a year, which means that if I don't do anything for a year, then I will lose these points. Now, I do want to, let's just see what view, okay, wait. If I click on this bad boy, well, how do I adjust my time? Let's say if I unclick it, oh, there we go. I want to take this back. I'm going to say I'm definitely still working on my response to D4. I'm revamping it. Let's call it that. And so this is total time, and I did about, the last 2 days I've done, let's say 6 hours. So let's say I've done 16 hours, and we'll go update. There we go, browse. And then just for kicks, let's go activity then. And then you can see my opening. I'm committed for myself and also for the dojo. I'm going to do some opening stuff for the dojo, but I'm going to do opening work for the next month until my next tournament. Why? Because I have been avoiding it. And as I said, the magic happens when you do the stuff that you've been avoiding. And so I'm going to do some opening stuff, both for myself and for the dojo. We need to build out some of the opening stuff at the dojo. Chess Kim, thank you for subscribing. Yeah. So, my friends, I think that's it for me. I got a new notification. There's a new reaction on your activity. There we go. Beautiful. So, actually, there was some other thing in scoreboard I wanted to look at. So if we go stats, boom. I wanted to show you this cool thing that Jack's got going on. I think it's the most significant stat. Now, this looks kind of messed up, but Jack's going to fix it soon. That's because somebody in the 1900-2000 cohort messed up all the stats, dude, by I don't know. But that's like a statistical outlier, and we'll probably get rid of the statistical outliers in any case. What you're seeing is here, it's this really cool thing. So what is the average change of rating that you get for every dojo point that you complete, right? Now, my intuition is that as you go up the cohort, you'll get less rating points per dojo point, right? So, for example, 0300, you do a dojo point of work, you're getting 5 rating points, right? And then we go up, 3, 400, 2, 5, 5, 1. And once we get rid of the statistical anomaly, it's going to, the base will be like, 0 to 10. So you'll actually be able to see it. But 7, 3, 5, kind of, so right in these lower cohorts, 8, that's pretty high. 3, 4, 9. So maybe my thesis is wrong about the points. But there you got a 1. Somehow that destroyed everything. And then up here, boss, it's slim pickings up there. Okay, so, and Abdul saying mostly for black for my openings. At this point, yes, I do need some work with the white openings too, though. And I'm just going to do, I'll just tell the quick story. I've been playing the Nimzo Indian and the Queen's Indian against d4 forever. And I'm kind of a little bit dissatisfied with the Queen's Indian. And I said to myself, the Ragozin is basically a Nimzo Indian, just better. It's better than the Queen's Indian. So it's a very easy switch for me to make from Queen's Indian to Ragozin. So that's what I've been spending the last 2 mornings on. And I'll probably do a course, not on Chessable, but just, a file here for us. Okay, you guys, I am out of here. We are going to be back fairly shortly, though. So let's say 40 minutes.